Happy Thursday, Facebook friends. Welcome back to Facebook and our Teacher Talk. If you are just joining us, just tuning in, we are in season 2 of our Teacher Talks. I'm Angie Garza, Director of Professional Learning and Educational Services at ROE 47, serving Lee, Ogle, and Whiteside counties. And we're so happy to have you back with us today, especially as we are going to be sharing some student success with all of you on Facebook today. As always, I am joined by my friend, colleague, and co-host, Digital Teaching and Learning Specialist, Mrs. Stacy Dingus. Good morning, Stacy.
Good morning, Angie. Super excited about this one. I always say, whether it's on our social media platforms or the pictures on our website, that people love to hear about the kids. We can shout to high heavens about the programs that we have, but when we are able to promote our students and the great things that our kids are doing, that's what people love to hear about. So today is going to be a special one. I'm excited to have this chat.
I agree, Stacy. And today's inspirational story is one that I hope will reach our educators, our communities, but in particular, I hope that for those young people, those students that we have as Facebook followers who may be listening to this message, who may be doubting their education and where they want to go with their lives, to really listen to this very special story that we are going to share with you. And actually, it's not just us. It is the story of our two special guests this morning. So I would like to welcome to our Teacher Talk this morning, Michael Larkey, who is a Center for Change graduate as of January 2021, and his teacher, Mrs. Shandy Adams. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thanks for being here with us and taking time out of your busy schedule. Facebook friends, today is one of Michael's only days off during the week, and he is back at Center for Change. So to start us off, that is a true testament to the program and to the work that he has put into investing in himself to come back to the school to share his story with all of us. So thank you, thank you, thank you. So I'm going to go ahead and get us started this morning. We want to hear more about this story. You shared a little bit with us before we started this recording, and I'm anxious to have you share that story with our community. So Michael, can you please tell us just a little bit about yourself and how you came to be at Center for Change?
I was living in Rockford, and my family was going through a little bit of a hard time, and we ended up moving out here to Ashton, right in between Rochelle and Dixon. And I ended up going to register to the high school there, and they told me I didn't have enough credits to enroll there, so they sent me to a school called Nachusa, which is where it's another program like this. We actually ended up combining in the end of Nachusa, and they sent me there. And even my first year at there, I wasn't really doing anything. I was hurt. My back had a slip disc in my back, and I was sleeping all day under my desk, not doing anything. And then the next year I decided to come back, and something just clicked, to seeing all the kids leaving early, graduating early, getting their stuff done. I was like, I want that to be me. I don't want to just drop out or just give up. I want to finish early if I can. And so that's what I did. I worked hard, working every night, hours on hours, sitting in my room alone, just getting my lessons done, trying to get as far as I could ahead to graduate as early as I could.
Michael, that's incredible. That internal drive and that motivation. And you mentioned the fact that you saw all of your peers kind of leaving early and graduating, and what were some other motivators to your success? What kept you going? What kept driving you to sit at home and continue on with your learning and with your lessons?
Mainly, I just didn't want to be another one of the Rockford statistics, like, oh, you're from Rockford, you're not going to do that well, you're going to not do good in school, you're going to drop out, all that. That's a very common thing where I'm from, is students, even, freshman, sophomore, they drop out or just stop going. And I was like, I don't want to be one of those people. I want to have a life, do something for myself and my family.
So before we started this conversation, we were kind of informally chatting beforehand, and you mentioned that you really found value in a diploma as opposed to going and getting your GED. Can you tell us a little bit more about that? Where does that value come from? What was your thinking? What would you say to others who are considering, I'll just drop out and get my GED?
I know a few people that have just dropped out and got their GED, and me finishing high school, even just, 6 months after being out of high school, personally, I can see that I am doing somewhat a little bit better than they are. I just saw someone when I was going to high school in Rockford a couple weeks ago. I saw him there working at an auto parts store making like 9 something an hour, and I graduated. I'm working at a Walmart auto center and I'm making $15 an hour. I get paid every 2 weeks and it's like $1,000. So, I visually saw the difference between people who got their GED and people who just finished high school. And that's what drove me to just get my diploma and not just quit and give up.
Your story I mentioned before, is inspirational in a number of ways. I think it really speaks to our students who might be disillusioned with school or might not necessarily find the value, certainly to our employers and our community members, but also to our teachers. So I'm going to shift my line of questioning over to your former teacher, Mrs. Adams. And Shandy, I was wondering if you could kind of share your perspective on Michael's story and what you saw from him as a student and how he kind of evolved in his time at Center for Change.
So Michael started with us when we were still at Nachusa before we combined our two programs. So when he was at Nachusa, as he said, he spent a lot of time sleeping, a lot of time not engaged in the classroom. But then towards the end of that school year, he started to see that some of the students in our class were graduating or getting very close to graduating. And something changed. I don't exactly know what it was, but when we came back the next year, he just had decided, and really it is a decision. He had decided that he was going to graduate, and the effort was amazing. Like it was like night and day. And Michael actually completed a lot of classes, almost 2 years worth of classes in 1 year to catch up. And I think a lot of it has to do with our environment. Our environment is less restrictive. We are able to make more accommodations for our students to help them be successful. And we understand that sometimes a regular school setting is not the right setting for every student. Some students need other options, other choices, which is one of the reasons why our program is called the Options Program.
So I want to follow up on something that you mentioned earlier, and that is that kind of power of relationships. Tell us a little bit about that dynamic at C4C and how you think it helps, students like Michael and Michael and his success story.
We hear a lot of stories from the regular school setting about how our students don't get along with certain teachers. And I feel like that's evident even here. We have students that really connect with certain teachers, certain staff members. And a lot of it really honestly is just a kind of a personality thing. Like we just tend to mesh with certain people who, share similar traits and attributes with us. And if you're matched with a teacher that gets you, you're going to go much farther than being matched with a teacher that doesn't get you. And I think at C4C, we work really hard to try to build those relationships with our students so that our students can be successful, find out what they were lacking in the regular school setting and try to provide that for them here.
And speaking of being successful, Michael, now that you have kind of, made your way to the end and you did it and you did the hard work and you put the determination in, put the time in. Share with us what your future looks like. What are you doing now? Maybe some goals that you have for yourself. That's always the best part of the story is to find out, where the student ended up and what their hopes are. So can you share with us kind of what you're doing now and maybe some goals that you have for yourself?
I'm currently right now working full-time in the auto center at a Walmart in Rockford. And it's decent. It's a good job. But what I see for my future is being at a dealership somewhere, whether it's across the country or somewhere around here. It's just a dealership somewhere where I can get that certification for that specific dealership, and then say I need to move across the country, I can go to any dealership that offers that certification and get a job.
So Michael, I just want to point out to you that your continued hard work that you had at C4C, it's following you, because I love hearing you talk about getting those certifications and those additional credentials. I mean, that is really going to pay off for you so much as you move forward in your life. And I'm just so excited to hear that. So congratulations to you. And I applaud you for continuing to look ahead to more learning so that you can increase those opportunities. That's so excellent. Facebook friends, thank you so much for joining us on this episode of our Teacher Talk Season 2. We hope that you've enjoyed hearing about this remarkable success story coming out of Center for Change and Michael Larkey. As I mentioned earlier, this is just inspirational in the sense that students can really very much identify, Michael, with the story that you shared. It makes our hearts feel good as educators to know that we've been able to make a difference in one person's life and many others. And our community is so fortunate to have you and to have someone of your tenacity and interest in learning more and kind of finding your home somewhere here. If not Rockford, then maybe the Sauk Valley area, or who knows where
Right.
this will take you. So congratulations to you. We will be back here next Thursday for more inspirational stories, updates and insights from educators, as always. So on behalf of my friend, colleague, and co-host, Mrs. Stacy Dingus, and our special guests, Mrs. Shandy Adams and Michael Larkey, have a wonderful rest of your Thursday, an even better Friday. Have an amazing weekend, and we will see you right back here next Thursday for another edition of Teacher Talk.